Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the A3U Review.
We've been looking at all your comments, and it looks like today we're going to do a comparison of DX9's Chigurh versus ToyWorld's Evila.
That's right. My name's Alex.
I'm Boris.
And you're watching
the A3U Review.
So you guys have been very vocal on the comments section, and some of you guys actually suggested that it would be a good idea to compare the ToyWorld Evila with the DX9 Chigurh. Well, that's what we're gonna do for you guys today. And the first thing I can say is that what a big box and what a small box for almost the same product.
Yeah, totally. Which is the funny thing because the Chigurh is actually the bigger robot.
Yeah.
Scale. So it's going to be really interesting to see these two out of the boxes and what they look like. I do love the DX9 aesthetic. I have to say they've spent a lot of time doing the artwork. It's got this almost like retro kind of cool feel to it. Like you look at the top.
I like it.
All that. Yeah, I really do. What I do like is there's foam inside here that really protects the robot on shipping. But you know, both of them arrived fine. So yeah,
let's take a look at it in its train mode.
Here we have a Chigurh by DX9 and ToyWorld's Evila. First impressions, what do you think, Alex?
Well, this looks like an actual locomotive, where on the other hand, this looks like half of a locomotive with a nuclear warhead on top. They went for the more, I guess, stylized, cartoony route, where this one, they wanted to look more like the, you know, the real deal. But I see what they were trying to do with this. They didn't want to copy this, and they also wanted to put their own flavor to this, which they evidently did.
For me, the first impression, the colors are definitely a little bit more inspired by the cartoon.
Yep.
And this one is more or less a little bit more, I believe, inspired by the toy. This one is definitely a little bit more of a locomotive.
Yeah.
Though I still have a beef with the wheels, like I have always. Both of them, the wheels are kind of odd. They're really not like an actual train in that sense. However, I kind of feel like the wheels on this locomotive is a little bit more balanced in how it's just all of it is kind of lined up, whereas these wheels are of different shapes and one extrudes a little bit more.
Yeah.
And all that. So I just wanted to mention that, and also these ones are on die-cast wheels,
which is a really, really nice touch.
It's cool. It gives it a lot of weight, but both of them, once again, don't really like, the wheels don't get traction. So if you're expecting that, don't. They're just aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
They're not very functional at all as wheels. They definitely took it in their own direction for the DX9 train. For the design. But I don't know how I feel about it as a train. It's a little bit fat. The width of it is actually very thick.
Yeah, there's a lot of mass to it.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's just a different design, and it's not as sleek as you know, this one is. And in doing that, this doesn't really feel like a real train. The design is, I think, is cool. They definitely looked at a lot of the parts and tried to, it's a triple changer. Yeah. You could tell they've hidden a lot of the shuttle parts in there.
I think they did a good job hiding the shuttle parts. What I like about this is that it's very clean looking, right? It's not like colors all over the place. The colors work. I think it goes good together, and it just doesn't look messy.
I definitely think the ToyWorld's version looks a little bit messier. Though it's sleeker. Like you can tell where all the panels are that are hiding everything, but somehow. I don't see any of the shuttle parts. At all.
This is the part where it's the weakest, because obviously here's the front, the canopy, right?
For me, it's not as obvious on this. I mean, if you really look closely, of course, once again, it's a triple changer. You're gonna notice there's a little bit of kibble from the other modes.
Absolutely.
It just that's the nature of it, right? you know, all in all, you know, what do you think? Which one do you like better?
I'm gonna lean towards this one. I'm gonna say I like this one more.
Okay. Honestly, I'm gonna have to say the ToyWorld one beats it out a little bit more.
Okay.
It's stylized a little bit more like what I would expect from the G1 version of it.
Yeah.
I do like the sleek paneling. It hides it a little bit better than the Chigurh does.
Yeah.
However, color-wise,
Yeah.
you know, trying to go in their own direction, I'd have to give it to the Chigurh for that.
Yeah.
But you know, let's take a look at it in the space shuttle mode first and see how that differs.
So now we have them both in the shuttle mode, and they are very, very different, especially in size.
Yeah, totally. This is kind of
fat shuttle, and this looks like a regular normal shuttle we've seen in the previous review we did for them.
Totally. You know, I don't necessarily think it's bad though.
Me neither.
It's actually kind of cool. It is a lot fatter than I would remember it, but it does have some cool design cues, and and the most notable thing is it feels really solid.
Yeah.
Compared
to.
It
looks more solid.
Yeah, totally. Compared to like, you know, this one is actually, you know, not as solid. The middle pieces, the panels and whatnot, doesn't feel as much of a weight to it. Now, having said that, I could say that, you know, this is cool that they've done their own take on the shuttle and, you know, kind of diverged. But on the same token, if you're kind of a G1 purist, you kind of want
something closer.
Exactly, and I think that comes a lot closer.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Which one do you prefer?
You know what? I'll be completely honest. I like this one.
Oh, you do?
I like this one because it feels like it's its own thing, right? This is their version of you know, the homage. This is their homage to it, and I like that they decided to put their own design aesthetics to it. Like, I like all these little details on it, and I like that the colors go better together compared to this contrasting colors like the dark purple and the light. I've mentioned that in the review. I like that the gray goes with purple. Purple has always gone good with gray, and I like that they embrace that as opposed to you know, keeping the same colors as this one. I mean, as this one, right? So they did a good job with that, and I gotta say that I like this one more.
Yeah, I'm torn. I actually like certain elements of each one.
Yeah, okay.
I do like that this one is a slimmer profile because it matches a little bit more with the G1 version. And also, it's, to me, this is kind of more like what a shuttle looks like.
Yeah.
However, having said that, I kind of agree with a lot of your points where, you know, they didn't really go outside of their comfort zone on this one. And they made it really kind of match the toy coloring aesthetic. Yeah. Whereas this one matches the cartoon and also kind of brings some new elements of design into it. Like, you know, even like these parts here, they look really, really cool where they got these like nice little like side vents and everything. And just how it's put together, I kind of like it a lot more. Now, I do have to say that I wasn't a big fan though of these like little bits on the bottom. You know, I don't know how else you would have done it, but you know, obviously the ToyWorld one, they made the Velastar a lot more streamlined when it came to that, which I really appreciated about the ToyWorld version. And another thing I like about the Chigurh is that it comes with this little cool stand.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's actually part of the train back, but they reuse it along with its landing gear, which is also the gun, and make it kind of this floating stand display, which is cool because, you know, it's a space shuttle. So it
it's
can
a nice
have
touch.
Exactly. It can have its landing gear, or it could be flying. All in all, I'd say it's still a bit of a toss-up for me, but I'd say this one probably wins a little bit over for me, because it's a little bit closer to the G1 counterpart.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you're going with that. I'm definitely going to go with that one. I just like that cartoony feel that it has.
Totally. Well, let's get in a robot mode and see how we feel about it then.
And finally, we have them in their robot modes, and wow, they both actually look pretty good.
Yeah, the robot modes really kind of show off a lot of the aesthetics and the result of all the aesthetics.
Yeah. Well, the most notable difference right away is the height. As you can see from the vehicle modes, this one obviously had a lot of mass to it. It really is apparent in the robot mode when you see the height difference, almost like a full inch.
You know, I really like the size of the Chigurh. It's a really great size, actually.
It is.
And just like in terms of aesthetic, the coloring and everything, really love the coloring.
Yeah.
Not to say that there's anything wrong with the ToyWorld, colors.
Yeah.
Because I like them as well.
Yeah.
They just don't feel like they were done as well as the colors in the Chigurh. Now also, I guess it's a little bit more accurate to the cartoon.
Yeah. But what I do like about this one a lot compared to this one is this one feels very... first of all, I do like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But compared to this one, I feel the proportions are better. Like, I like the size of the body. I like that he's got shoulder pads, and I like the legs here. But he feels very square. Like, it's square hair. It feels boxy here. He's got this large thigh gap, which really makes him... just feel like just one big block. And of course here he's missing these wings that span span across the chest, and so there's a big box here. You know what I'm saying? Like, the size is great, a lot of things are great about it, but I just love the proportions of this one a lot more, actually.
I think I agree with you too. Like, I really do like, I mean, other than the slightly thicker legs.
I mean, they are really thick, but if you look straight on, it doesn't look that bad.
Overall, the design cues and the curves and everything on it, I really like how this has kind of rounded a lot of that out. Whereas you're right, this is very square. Yeah. One thing too that I thought was a missed opportunity is all these gaps.
Yeah.
Everywhere. This ToyWorld does a good job of hiding a lot of those gaps.
Yeah, they do.
Which I really appreciate. But in terms of posability and whatnot, I do like both of them. They're both very posable. They have the articulated feet.
Yeah, and I also really like the head sculpt on this one. I like it more than him.
I do too. I really like the head sculpt on the Chigurh.
You know what? After all that's been said and done, I'm gonna have to say that I like this one more.
Yeah. I'm gonna say overall for me, because I'm a G1 fan and I like what ToyWorld's done. I gotta go with the Evila Star.
Okay.
The colors aren't as accurate to the cartoon, but to the toy itself, it is, and for me that works.
Okay.
So overall, I think the actual hiding of all the panels and all that kind of stuff, they did a way better job in finishing off the product. Yeah. Where DX9 did miss a few more opportunities, I feel.
Well, I see value in both of them then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just kind of what you prefer as a look.
That's right.
A couple of other things we should mention is the transformation. I felt like, in my opinion, the transformation on the ToyWorld one was a little bit more difficult. I felt like I was sweating every time I was touching this thing. It's got a lot of very tight transformations. A lot of places where panels have to slide in just right, and then sometimes to slide it in those positions, you feel like, oh, am I gonna break this thing? And I don't want to. The plastic itself, it feels, not to say it's low quality, because it's not low quality plastic, but the thinness of some of the panels and whatnot feels a little bit more riskier. It doesn't feel as durable, where the Chigurh was very durable. I could it felt like it had some flex to it, wasn't gonna bust it. And it's a very complex transformation for a lot of the things happening in here, where the Chigurh kind of held back a little bit more.
I absolutely agree with it. This one felt a lot more solid. Sure, it had some complex parts, but I was able to actually transform this guy without looking at the instructions that much. I just looked at the end result and just moved things around a bit. I did refer to the instructions a little bit, but for the most part, some of these parts just you see where they go just from the photo, and you just kind of play around with it, and then you figure it out yourself.
Definitely in complexity, you need the instructions if you want to transform this guy. But there's a few surprises. Like, there are some interesting things in how the feet transform and all that. There's definitely a lot of thought and ingenuity put into how to hide certain things on this guy.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe it was a little bit overly complicated for some things, but you know, that's just me.
So that is our comparison of the ToyWorld Evila Star and the DX9 Chigurh. I prefer the Chigurh, and Boris prefers the Evila Star. Which one do you prefer? Let us know in the comment section below. And that's our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed it.
Once again, please use the comment section below. We do read all of your comments, so please keep the suggestions coming.
Absolutely. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, Ages 3 and Up, and also follow us on Twitter at Ages 3 and Up. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.